my name is Sarah Gabe, and today our group is going to be discussing the Rococo period. The Rococo era approximately started in 1730 and ended around 1770 due to the French Revolution. This era emphasized charm, elegance, and the pleasures of life, and is quite literally known to be the opposite of the Baroque era. The Baroque era was dark and dramatic, and often depicted more religious scenes that were a little bit violent, and the Rococo period celebrated joyous aspects of life and also used a lot more delicate colors. The Rococo period originated in France and comes from the French word rocaille. I don't know if I'm saying correctly, but it does mean rock, shell, pebbles. This could be because of the prevalent use of rocks and shells in Rococo designs, which also represented the movement's whimsical and decorative nature. The Rococo era quickly spread its influence all throughout Europe, which left a huge mark on art, architecture, and interior designs, and even fashion. And it created an atmosphere of elegance and enchantment, which offered the escape from the constraints of everyday life into a world of fantasy and indulgence. The Rococo period not only represented a shift in artistic style, but also embodied the spirit of the Age of Enlightenment. While embracing indulgence and pleasure, it sought to strike a balance with intellectual curiosity and reason. This fusion resulted in a refined and sophisticated aesthetic that showcased the pursuit of beauty and knowledge. Although the Rococo period eventually gave way to the more neoclassical style, its influence remains significant. The legacy can be observed in delicate lines, intricate details, and whimsical motifs in contemporary designs. Its enchanting allure continues to captivate art enthusiasts and serves as a reminder for the desire of beauty, pleasure, and the pursuit to live life joyously. Paintings, for example, transported viewers into a realm of leisure, love, and flirtation. And these works often depicted scenes of like aristocrats and their courtly life, which also led to the French Revolution. These paintings were characterized by delicate brushwork, delicate color palette consisting of pastel hues, and a focus on capturing fleeting moments and evoking emotions. One of the major things during this era is that a lot of paintings have the theme of have more feminine themes and sexual themes in a lot of paintings, and it offers the question is how did Rococo art bring in discussions of femininity and eroticism during the 18th century? Well, in Rococo paintings, female figures took center stage. They were often depicted as objects of desire, celebrating their allure and charm. Female subjects were often shown in luxurious attire, emphasizing their sensuality and elegance. It is important to note that the representations of femininity and eroticism during the Rococo period were largely shaped by the perspectives and expectations of predominantly male artists and patrons of the time. The depictions of women tended to cater to the male gaze and reinforce societal norms and ideals of beauty. However, the period also offered the space for exploring female sensuality and agency within that confines of the societal expectations of the time. The Rococo period, with its celebration of pleasure and its emphasis of beauty of women, sparked discussions about femininity and eroticism during the 18th century. Though its art and literature and theater, the movement provided a platform for exploring the sensuality, courtship, and the roles of women in society. While these representations were influenced by societal norms and expectations, they did open up conversations. My other group members, Annie and London, will be discussing further about paintings.
Hi, I'm Annie, and I will be talking about two Rococo paintings and how they are relevant to our question: how did Rococo art bring in discussions of femininity and eroticism during the 18th century? The paintings that I will be focusing on were all made by Francois Boucher, so I will be giving a short background as to who he is and why he's relevant in the world of Rococo and art. Born in Paris, France, Francois Boucher lived from 1703 to 1770 and was an extremely renowned artist. Boucher was known by the French public, or more particularly the aristocrats, as someone who was able to capture the interests and tastes of the French perfectly. The seemingly euphoric and intimate scenes that he painted were well received, and around the 1740s to 1750s, Boucher's refined but playful style became a hallmark of the court of King Louis XV. His paintings are known for depicting mythological scenes with lighthearted and romantic motifs. Even if the artwork didn't contain any scenes or stories from mythology, they all still had a soft, romantic, and even erotic quality that many people really loved. Overall, nearly all his paintings conveyed some sort of nudity and playfulness to capture the mind of all the viewers. And to the right over here is a painting of Francois Boucher himself, but this was actually not painted by him at all. This was painted by Gustav Lundberg, who is a Swedish Rococo painter. And the first piece that I have by Boucher is a 1751 oil on canvas painting titled The Toilette of Venus, and it was made as a commission for Madame de Pompadour, also known as Jeanne Antoinette Poussin and the chief mistress to King Louis XV. This painting has a lot of relevance to our question about femininity and eroticism because of how it portrays the female body and relationship between mother and child. And this depicts Venus, who is known as the goddess of love and beauty. She is also accompanied by 3 Cupids, and Cupid is also known by the name Eros, and is the son of Venus, and also the god of intimate and playful love. And so a lot of Venus's feminine grace is depicted in this piece. The soft curves and contours of her body really show what French people idealized and considered to be the trademark of beauty for women at the time. And we can see here that there are luxurious fabrics and along with furniture, roses, pearls, and all these items that were considered to be ideal for rich French women at the time to be associated with, especially if they wanted to be painted in a way that displayed how wealthy they were. There are also depictions of doves to the side in this painting, and one of them are in Venus's arms and one of them are located by her feet. And the doves are often associated with love and peace and Venus. They're often depicted fluttering around Venus, almost as if she was like a Disney princess of some sort. We can also see how there's a relationship between a mother and a child. It's already apparent that Venus and Cupid both have a mother and son connection, but the subtleties really show through in this painting. The figures of Cupid can be seen making mistakes and causing chaos, much like how a child does. The one on the right is playing with some pearls, while the other one on top is playing with Venus's hair. And the other one on the left is trying to get her attention by pulling on this blue string right here. This could represent how women were often valued as mothers during the 18th century, kind of saying that if Venus is this beautiful and is a mother and is handling these 3 children, you can too. And so onto the theme of eroticism, the most obvious symbol of eroticism here would be her nudity. The way Boucher uses brushwork to accentuate the curves of her body give her a soft appearance, which enhances her sexual appeal. And additionally, her torso is elongated, which can often be seen in many other paintings and depictions of the sexualized human body, or particularly the female body. As per the title of the painting, she's doing something private, as toilette refers to the process of washing oneself, dressing, and attending to one's appearance. So catching Venus doing something so private like this can arouse, I guess, like the starved mind of whatever lowly aristocrat was looking into her room. And it's almost like you're looking into her quarters, and it makes it seem like the viewer is engaging with her in a voyeuristic way. And the next and last painting I have is another oil on canvas painting that was made in 1742 titled Diana Leaving Her Bath. This one depicts Diana, also known as Artemis, the goddess of hunt and the moon, who is the one sitting on the blue fabric. She is also with an attendant who appears to be a nymph. Both women are naked and have just finished bathing. This painting really has a grasp in describing playful eroticism and even sexualization of the female form. To start off, this painting tells us essentially who we are looking at. We are looking at two women who have hunted something. The dogs in the background represent companionship and knowledge in the wild, and in addition to the arrows, which can show the viewer how these two women hunt. And most of all, the birds that have been hunted and will most likely become food. The viewer can also tell that we are looking at someone of authority because of the headpiece on Diana right here, which doesn't seem like something a normal or regular person would wear. In comparison, the attendant is only wearing this blue ribbon in her hair, which tells us that she's not of authority and she is at a lower rank than Diana. And this depiction of Diana appears to be a lot more young and innocent. Her body is completely clear of any sort of scarring and shows no evidence that she could be the goddess of hunt, aside from her headpiece. Additionally, she is depicted to be more soft and sweet. Her nudity and lack of guard make Diana seem like a person that needs to be protected, rather than someone who can hunt and protect, which is how a lot of men saw women at this time, and it reinforces the idea that women are delicate and need protecting. We can see in these other depictions of Diana over here that she appears to be a lot more older and is a bit more stoic and guarded, while this version of Diana is a lot more vulnerable and innocent looking. So even though these two women have left the bath, they don't seem to be getting dressed. They're just lounging, which is how a lot of sexualized women in art were commonly depicted. We can also see the color red in several places, like nipples, like her nipples over here, the ribbon in her hair, and her lips, which serve to lead the viewer's eyes. Their creamy and pale complexions make them appear effortlessly feminine and beautiful, which used to be the concept of an ideal woman back then, even today with some beauty standards that some people hold. Like the previous piece that I was talking about, where Venus is with the three cupids doing something private, it's almost as if like we're engaging with Diana and her attendant in a voyeuristic way. They're both doing something private in the forest, and they are unaware of any potential spectators that may be looking at them. So overall, these two paintings by Boucher depict women in an idealistic manner that translates to what a lot of people in France at the time considered to be feminine and perfect. And at the same time, they also convey a lot of eroticism that mainly appeal to the primarily male audience. And seeing as how Francois Boucher was a well-known painter who mainly created paintings for all to see, he definitely made these to appeal to the interests of his target audience, which those interests include these playfully feminine and erotic paintings.
Hey everybody, my name is London Benford. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take you on a journey through the world of art, specifically focus on 4 key artists who have significantly contributed to the development of the Rococo style. These artists are Giovanni, Jean Arne, Fulcher, and Jean, often regarded as the father of Rococo. Let us begin with Giovanni, an Italian artist from the late 17th and early 18th centuries. Giovanni's exquisite paintings captured the essence of Rococo with their delicate and ornate details. It was known for its enhancing landscapes, elegant portraits, and mythological scenes. Giovanni's work emphasized the Rococo style, emphasized on lightness, grace, and playful charm. His mastery of composition and use of pastel colors made him a prominent figure in the Rococo art movement. Giovanni, with his mastery of Rococo aesthetics, created several remarkable works. One notable painting is the Pastoral Concert, 1710 through 1712. This piece depicts a serene landscape with figures engaged in music making and conversation. The delicate brushwork and soft pastel colors exemplify the Rococo style's lightness and elegance. Giovanni's attention to detail is evident in the depiction of the figures' attire and the lush scenery, creating a harmonious composition that transports viewers into a peaceful pastoral setting. Moving on, we come to Jean, a French painter who flourished during the mid-18th century. His painting excluded sensuality, romance, all key characteristics of the Rococo style. His masterpiece, The Swing, is a perfect example of his ability to capture the essence of Rococo. This painting portrays a young lady on a swing, surrounded by lush foliage, as a young man looks up upon her from below. The playful brushstrokes and intricate details transport viewers into a world of fantasy and pleasure, making him a significant artist of the Rococo era. His most famous work is The Swing, 1767. This painting captures a moment of intrigue and flirtation. A young woman dressed in a pink dress is depicted on the swing, while a young man concealed in the bushes gazes up at her. The scene is filled with lush foliage, creating a sense of secrecy and playfulness. The loose brushstrokes and vibrant color palette add to the lively atmosphere, making the swing an iconic representation of Rococo's and sensational emotion. Next, we have Butcher, another celebrated French artist of the Rococo period. Butcher's work were often characterized by their extravagant subject matter, luxurious settings, and sensational depictions of mythological and pastoral scenes. His style was marked by its emphasis on curvaceous forms, delicate colors, and intricate details. Butcher's ability to capture the essence of beauty and sensuality earned him recognition as one of the foremost painters of the Rococo movement. His works adorn the palaces of French aristocracy, embodying the opulence and grandeur of the time. Butcher's included a myriad of enchanting paintings. One notable example is the Trump of Venus, 1740, which portrays the goddess of love surrounded by a multitude of cherubs and putti. The painting includes a sense of opulence and luxury with sumptuous fabrics, intricate details, and rich color palette. Butcher's skillful rendering of the female form in the dreamlike setting of this mythological scene epitomized the Rococo idea of beauty, pleasure, and romance. Lastly, we come to Jean, the artist referred to as the father of Rococo. Jean was a French painter of the early 18th century, and his works captured the spirit of the Rococo movement with their elegance, lightness, and focus on pleasure and entertainment. Wyatt's most famous painting, Pilgrims to the Cerithia, depicts a group of elegantly dressed couples embarking on a journey to the mythical island of love. This painting exemplifies the Rococo idea of escapism, romanticism, and the pursuit of pleasure. In conclusion, Giovanni, Jean, Butcher, and Jean were key artists who significantly contributed to the development of the Rococo style. Their paintings encapsulated the essence of Rococo with an emphasis on grace, sensuality, in the pursuit of pleasure. These artists left an indelible mark on the world of art, and their works continue to captivate viewers to this day. We owe them a debt of gratitude for enriching our culture and heritage and providing us with a glimpse into the beauty and extravagance of the Rococo era.
Hi, I'm Jonathan, and I will be closing off the Rococo art period and to answer how society was like during that era and how did Rococo art bring in discussions of femininity and eroticism during the 18th century. Craftspeople and designers rather than architects developed the Rococo style in France during the 1720s and 30s, which explains why it was more found in furniture, silver, and ceramics. In English design, the Rococo style flourished between 1740 and 1770. The design first appeared in silver and engravings of ornaments in the 1730s, with immigrants, including Huguenot refugees from France like Paul de Vermeer, playing a key role in spreading it. Escapism, frivolity, and pleasure were the hallmarks of the Rococo era. It was royalty and the aristocracy who set the fashions and manners of the day since they held social, political, and economic power. The excessive way of life at court led to boredom and escapism. The streets of Paris were dirty, smelly, busy, and crowded, with many poor residents living in squalid conditions. By creating light and happy spaces, the aristocracy insulated themselves from reality. Display and the desire to present the perfect bouquet created a self-absorbed narcissistic society at a time when religion was out of fashion. Conspicuous consumption, which was displaying one's wealth, and conspicuous leisure, demonstrating one's privilege to have leisure time, shaped the lifestyles of this group of people. As a result, fashion and decor were infused with a feminine aesthetic. The Rococo style is often referred to as a feminized version of the Baroque style, which is a more serious type of art compared to Rococo. Aristocrats and aristocratic leisure time activities, such as courtship rituals, picnics in a harmonious environment, and romantic excursions, are typically depicted in the paintings. Using curving natural forms and ornamentation, it is characterized by lightness and elegance. In the paintings, there are beautiful aristocrats wearing gorgeous clothing, and also the tall and slender figures are shown elegant and graceful. In the paintings, feathery trees and sprays of foliage are often depicted in a peaceful, natural setting. It is a spring or summer setting without any hint of rain or any natural event to disturb the happiness of the actors. There are often statues depicted in these natural parks. They often sometimes comment on the action in the painting. For example, Venus and her son Cupid may approve of the flirtations going on. There is a gentle use of colors, usually pastels. There are times when pink roses appear in profusion in an unnatural way. Most of these paintings depict happy people with no cares in the world, except maybe the fact that their love has not been reciprocated. In the 1740s and 1750s, Bloch and Copland published many pattern books of Rococo ornaments. Their popularity was attributed to their intricate and irregular three-dimensional forms, which placed great demands on the design and modeling skills of British craftspeople during the Rococo period. They were designed primarily for craftspeople and designers, and it played a huge role in decimating the Rococo style. Instead of copying the entire design, woodcarvers would cut them up and add their own ideas. The Rococo style was perhaps the most rebellious of all design types. The Baroque period was characterized by a great deal of ornamentation and theatrically a style without limits. Now, as you can see with the art I have displayed, the swing, you can see how, compared to like other Baroque paintings, this one is more like a way of showing how they take the easy way of enjoying life by looking up at a woman. And there we have it, and that would be my part of the conclusion.